February is the original title of the movie now known as The Blackcoat's Daughter, the 2015 horror from writer-director Oz Perkins. Perkins selected a new title at the request of A24, and perhaps this is fortuitous, as the line from the movie's nursery rhyme-style opening music is fitting. The theme of parental absence or abandonment is ubiquitous throughout the film, and the possible applications of The Blackcoat's Daughter as a title are numerous. This is in keeping with the storytelling devices evident as well. Ambiguity seems to be the order of the day, as Perkins offers few easy answers to a number of questions. Notice as we go over the plot how he sets up an interplay between what is known by us but not by the characters, and what is known by the characters but not by us. This simulates on a broader canvas the effect of a cut in editing mentioned in the Part 1 video. The story concerns Catherine, known as Cat, which is a homophone for cat, with all of its supernatural associations and the connotation of a familiar in service to some greater evil. Cat is attending a boarding school for girls, which is expected to empty over the winter break. But Cat seems to have premonitions, or some form of knowledge of an accident in which we presume her parents have been killed.
Daddy, where's the car?
She knows they will not be arriving to collect her, but the school's administrators are not aware of this.
Is something funny?
Rose is the other student whose parents are not coming. She claims this is because she got the dates mixed up, and that they should arrive a day or two following the school's evacuation.
Are you concerned about something?
No. I mean, I just wish you could stay and see my performance.
There's an irony here, as Kat appears to be referring to her talent show recital, but could be taken in the broader sense as a hint of what she intends.
When do you come back?
With the movie's second card, we're introduced to Rose, who is kept stubbornly ambiguous. Rose is somewhat inscrutable, and even as we learn about her, we don't really get insight into who she is.
Headache, you say?
Yeah. And my throat kind of hurts when I swallow.
You poor thing.
We often observe her without seeing her point of view, and in fact, we are specifically denied images of what she sees. Instead, we observe her in glimpses that provide only hints of her internal life.
Of course, everyone is excited to have your parents come and tour the classrooms and share your life here at Brantford with them.
We also meet Ms. Prescott and Mrs. Drake, who will be chaperones to the girls who remain in the school when it's otherwise abandoned.
It happens that parents get confused, and worst case is they come on Friday and everyone goes home and has a really nice break anyway. After all, we can't let you live here.
I was just gonna check out some of the performance. Are you okay? Yeah, of course.
Where are your parents?
They're waiting inside, so I better go.
We do learn that Rose is pregnant, and also that she has no intention of telling her parents. She seems to avoid them, as she also avoids the idea of parenthood, or of supervising Kat.
Rose, would you look after Kat until her parents arrive?
I actually haven't been feeling very well.
No?
I have a really sore throat. I was gonna stay in bed.
Into the black night.
The absence of Kat's parents is highlighted as she goes silent at the end of a refrain. We see the empty seats where her parents ought to be, and the bulk of the frame isolates Kat as we return to our view of her. Perkins wastes no opportunity to reinforce this idea, and the withholding of information, both factual and visual, becomes a recurring motif.
What about your parents? Did they call?
Kat behaves suspiciously from the outset. She tells no one of her premonition regarding her parents' death, and when left alone, her behavior is transgressive. She immediately disobeys Rose's admonition to stay out of her room. And just when we should get more information, some kind of closure on our doubts, we instead get an ominous fade to black. And we meet another girl. Our minds occupied with Kat, we observe in this new character certain resemblances to her, as well as parallel visual connections. And immediately a new set of questions is sprung upon us, while the existing ones remain unresolved. Are the events we are witnessing happening to this girl connected to those of Kat and Rose? Are they happening elsewhere at the same time, or at some other time altogether? The first information we receive about her is that she's left a mental institution, possibly escaped. She cryptically identifies herself as someone when the doorknob rattles.
There's someone in here.
As with Rose, we are almost obstinately denied insight. Like Kat, she is connected visually with a payphone, and we are again presented with the back of someone's head in denial of scrutiny. Perkins doesn't want us to know everything right away, but he does want us to be uncomfortably aware of our own uncertainty. When she sees the parked car near the bus depot, it's reminiscent of the vehicle of Kat's parents seen at the opening of the film. It seems to evoke something in our new protagonist as well. Perkins will increasingly employ parallelism to connect events and characters going forward. The car turns out to belong to a friendly couple, parents of an unidentified girl who died years prior, at Brantford. As questions multiply, our suspicions build. This is good suspense, as Perkins toys with our intuitions about whether the girl may be connected to what's happening in the first act, and whether the daughter might be Kat or Rose. When we do receive her name, we have every reason to doubt it is really Joan.
How about you? You heading someplace?
Portsmouth?
Sure. I know Portsmouth. Damn it. You park right over there. My wife's waiting in the car. See? Right there. My name's Bill. What's your name?
Joan. My name's Joan.
In the cut from their car to a car arriving at Brantford, we construe a transition of both time and place. The common element of the car's rear bridges the transition, but the differences alert us to a change in situation. And then we are returned to Joan, this time with a title card, but still partially obscured from view. But we do learn more, as each time she's faced with a mirror, we are shown a little more of her history. We see that she's been shot, and we notice the scar on her shoulder. Perkins has been parsing out information by degrees, maintaining the pacing of the story and keeping our interest piqued. Now he rewards our speculation and resolves one issue of suspense. But we still don't know what happened to Kat back at the school, and we still don't know what she intends to do next. There's always questions yet to be answered. Our conviction grows that this portion of the story must connect to the Kat and Rose portion, since where their story generates questions, Joan's portion begins to answer them.
Hello?
It's Bill. From the bus station. Do you mind if I come in?
Her evident distrust of Bill is belied by her willingness to receive him in just a towel. It's a suggestion that her reluctance isn't a product of fear, but of guile.
Were you sleepwalking? Do you sleepwalk? Is that what that was?
Returning to Brantford, Kat is visually tied to Joan by having her emerge from the shower. It's quite apparent that she's become disturbed, and she talks openly about her parents' deaths.
Did they call?
They're dead.
What? That is an awful thing to say.
This leaves Rose disconcerted, and the audience finally learns definitively that this fear is well-founded.
You should go to bed now.
Is there anything else I can get you?
No. You had your chance.
That's my Rose.
She's pretty.
When Bill shows the photo of his deceased daughter, Rose, we gain the understanding that events with Joan are taking place 9 years after those concerning Kat and Rose. We also learn that Rose is to die. Suddenly, the answers start to flood in. Joan is also disturbed by the photo, but is alarmingly amused. Looking in the mirror, we see her adopting the identity of Joan after apparently strangling her. This girl is not she. She's an escapee from a mental asylum who knows about Rose. We can now be fairly certain that she is Kat 9 years hence, and we understand that this is a dangerous situation, although we don't have specifics since the resolution of events at Brantford are as yet withheld.
What did they say?
He said it's all right.
Wait, what's all right? Who says?
He says I can't live here. But I can, with him.
Who's he?
You know who.
Kat has begun to wear her hair like Joan, and Rose, failing to recognize the danger she represents, takes a spoon from a drawer to counter Joan's knife. And now we have dramatic irony, as we now know that Kat is to be shot and Rose is to die. But it's married with the uncertainty of how events will bring these about. The result is still more suspense.
Excuse me.
Even when police arrive and check at the sisters' house, the only information we are allowed is the sight of some blood on the wall and the reactions of the men as they stumble upon the scene. Time and again, Perkins refuses to resolve our questions, preferring to fade to black in obstinate defiance of our curiosity. The final segment of the film is introduced with a card for Kat. Since she holds most of the answers, her perspective of events revisited shed new light that allows us a more complete understanding of what we've seen. The feet in the bathtub were a memory of Joan's, so we have confirmation that the two are one. The coins in hand at the payphone again parallel Joan's, and we now witness Kat's mad conversation with the entity she at first mistakes for her parents.
Dad? Who is it? Hello?
After Kat has killed the sisters, we get our second sequence of Rose in the bathroom. As in the prior case, suspense is built, but this time for the audience in the certain knowledge that mortal danger is at hand. This parallels the earlier sequence, and again we are denied the expected jump scare. Open spaces out of view, partial reflections, and unseen spaces following open doors offer no resolution of tension. The killing is perfunctory, and if anything, Kat seems to be in the throes of elated confusion. There is no malice about her as she completes the beheading, and we fix visually upon her school badge. When she's caught, she raises her arms, creating a shadow on the wall very like the one she's been glimpsing, and interpreting as the presence of Satan. The horror of the situation culminates in this scene. It's upon seeing Kat shot that we both fully understand what transpired and get a violent resolution to the plot. But it leaves us troubled. There are still questions, but we finally know what happened at Bramford. And so we're left only with Joan, and the parents of Rose arrived 9 years too late.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her all about it?
Now they are consumed with regret, but when Rose was alive, they were distant, leaving her to the care of others at a boarding school. They didn't know when her winter break came about, were unaware of her pregnancy, and learned secondhand of her gruesome death. They had not been there for her, just as Kat's parents had not, and Kat, now Joan, must surely consider them as guilty as Rose ever was. Again, the killing is done with frank dispatch, and she seems genuinely sickened by it. She doesn't kill for joy or malice, she does it in anticipation of reward. Finally comes a priest.
Catherine? There you are.
His exorcism of Kat is performed with as little undue histrionics as her killings. He has discovered his enemy and must send him away, never to return. But Kat doesn't believe it. She believes that it, will ultimately rejoin her.
Don't go.
And now we finally understand everything. Our last question is resolved. Why did Kat do it? Her despair in the end is not for the senselessness of her murders. It's for his refusal to come back to her. It's for being alone in the world, parentless, loveless, isolated. The Blackcoat's Daughter, for all its complex layers of teased information and suspenseful denial of expectations, is simply the story of a girl who has lost her parents and would rather find comfort in the devil's company than go on alone. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that Shoot Me Reviews now has over 500 subscribers. Thanks to all of you. And if you'd like to support the channel, I now have a Patreon link in the description below. I appreciate all the support, financial or otherwise. As always, please like, share, and comment.
So, Portsmouth, huh? Is that your home? Your mom and dad?
No.
No. Friends? Someone?
Someone.
Oh, that's better than having no one, isn't it?